Let us all rise as we welcome our Excellency and Victoria. Your Excellency, you are warmly welcome, ma'am. Please be seated. We'll invite Imam and Padri to commence this program with prayers.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Our God and Father in heaven, Lord, thank you for your Lord, we are the giver of life. We appreciate you for all that you have done for us, you are going to do for us, you are doing for us this so far. We have gathered here, Lord Jehovah. We now invite you into your presence. In your presence, Lord, we pray that everything that we are going to still do here, Lord, according to your will. Lord, as you are among us, we now declare this meeting, this gathering open, blessed, victorious, holy, also with angels only for the devil. Lord, I want to this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. For in Jesus' name we pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, thy power, and thy glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you very much, Padri and Imam. Officers and men, sit up. Sit easy. Sit up. More sir. I have the permission to carry on, sir. Sit easy. Your Excellency, First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Mrs. Fatima Bio, the Chief of Defense Staff, Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, Lieutenant General SICC, the Commander Joint Force, Major General P.K. Lavon, Chief of Staff, Office of the First Lady, Mr. Salim Feka, Brigadier General, ACDS, Support and Logistics, officers and men of the Joint Medical Unit and the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Hassan S. Kamara, and in the next 20 minutes or thereabout, I'll be moderating this very important program. The 34 military hospitals in recent past have witnessed goodwill donations from various institutions and individuals. But today is going to be a very special one. Special one because this goodwill gesture will be done by no less a person but Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic. And I want us to give her a big round of applause. very special, and I want to quote in our local language, because usai the mamide, the basef dide, and usai the pade, not hopefully plating the body. Not so? Ma, you're welcome again. The purpose of this meeting today is to witness the donation of assorted medical items by the Office of the First Lady, which will be done by Excellency herself. Her Excellency will also take a tour of some part of the hospital facilities to see how our good office will enhance the services being delivered at the 34 Military Hospital. Therefore, without wasting time, I will now call on the Commanding Officer of the Joint Medical Unit, Colonel Dr. Stephen Sivali, to make a statement and a welcome address for Our Excellency. Sir, you are welcome.
Excellency, the First Lady, Mrs. Madam, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General SICC, the Joint Force Commander, Major General P.K. Lavon, Chief of Staff to the Office of the First Lady, Mr. Feka, senior officers, men and women of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, distinguished guests and the First Estate. Good morning and welcome to 34 Military Hospital. I am Colonel Dr. Stephen Sivali. I am the Commanding Officer of the Joint Medical Unit. I also double as Case Management Lead in the National COVID-19 response. I have to first of all acknowledge the fact that we are thoroughly impressed but not surprised to have the First Lady in our midst again today to do a donation. Let me just remind that in 2018 December, the First Lady visited us and brought in donations for children as well as pregnant women. And I can still recall around that time we had retired Captain V. Strasser, who was here, that you visited as well and got donations for. The same was done in 2019. So it is not a surprise that the First Lady has made healthcare at 34 Military Hospital a priority. Let me just mention that the 34 Military Hospital and, of course, cross-section of men and women you see here are dedicated to healthcare services. They are people that have been taking the lead in the COVID-19 response. The 34 Military Hospital, from the time you visited to now, roughly 18 months, have developed a lot of capacity in healthcare response. In this facility where we are hosted, we manage the most critical cases, and it is the center of excellence right now for COVID and management of critical cases. We have developed intensive care unit capacity of 13 beds that is just outside. Of course, remarkably, you will not fail to notice that there is an ongoing road construction, and this entire road network is going to be refurbished hopefully before next year. That has been led by the Chief of Defense Staff that is here and the Joint Force Commander. Um, 34 is also particular about women's health. So last year we conducted screening, breast cancer screening in collaboration with the Well Woman Clinic, and all identified cases have been channeled through the Well Woman Clinic for management. And as I speak to you, we also produce alcohol-based hand sanitizer, which is in front of you right now in the table. And we are developing capacity to begin local production in Sierra Leone. Not to always we need for import, even hand sanitizer. And that is the capacity the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces is building under the current leadership of the Chief of Defense Staff and the Joint Force Commander. Let me just mention again that there has been massive refurbishment. The male surgical ward has been thoroughly refurbished. At the moment we are admitting COVID-19 cases there. There has been renovation of the accident and emergency unit. The last time you visited, it was a 3-bed. Now it is not just a 15-bed, but it has fan, AC, well electrified, with 1 bed for VIPs. We also are moving towards electronic record systems now. So in this facility, our health records are purely electronic, and there is the guarantee that you go and come back in 50 years, you can access those records. One of your interests has been maternal and child health, and as I speak to you, we are constructing a theater in the maternity unit, which of course we will be happy to show you, and how that fits into your bigger plan of developing services for pregnant women and children. As we move forward, hopefully it was not for this COVID, by now we would have started annual medical checkup for all military personnel in this army. But that plan is our look forward. We want to strengthen our ICT infrastructure, and of course continue to further renovate the structures within the GMU and ensure that very soon we have level 2 hospitals at each of our brigade headquarters. And today there is turning of the soil in Bo, in which we are hoping to get a level 2 hospital in the 5 brigade in Bo. With this update, I think this is an exciting period, and on behalf of the senior officers, men and women of the Joint Medical Unit, we are quite excited to have you in our midst again today for another wonderful contribution to the development of the armed forces. And in that spirit, I wish to welcome you in your entirety. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our dynamic commanding officer. Thank you very much, sir, for that warm welcome and for giving a synopsis of the developments of the 34 Military Hospital over the period. As our commanding officer has stated, we have in front of us alcohol and base rub. We'll encourage everybody to use it, and I will respectfully ask members of the high table to use the alcohol hand rub after using the mic. Thank you once again, sir. I will now call on the Chief of Staff, Office of the First Lady, to make a declaration of the purpose of this visit. Mr. Salim Feka. Let's give him a round of applause.
Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Joint Force Commander, men and women in the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, member of the JMB and Associate President, members of the 4th Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to be here this morning, serving in the capacity of somebody to give the purpose why we are here. I work for the Office of the First Lady, a strategic extension of the Office of the President. So that clearly defines if the First Lady is here, the President is around. And I strongly believe the President is a brother, a friend, and the Commander-in-Chief, and above all, a comrade to the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. So by extension, by extension, if I differ, Her Excellency, the First Lady, fall within this category. She is a mother, a friend, an aunt, and a very good sympathizer, and somebody who cares so much about the public consider the armed forces. I'm privileged again to be on the same podium with my brother Stephen Sivali. A short history. His transitions actually took me to the leadership of NOS president. He was the Secretary General. So when sometimes he's talking, I carefully listen to his words. I remember those days when we have meeting in the transition phase. He was a crafty young man. He's always playing with words. So at the end of the day, there was a plan to get us out of the race. And I always keep telling, see, you just keep talking while I'm playing my background work. And he was surprised enough to realize anytime we go for meeting, who is the candidate? I said, no, don't forget about that. Let's just discuss what we are here for. And he never realized that I was the candidate that the General University was putting forward. By then, he was the outgoing Secretary General for NOS. So my brother, we are back in this race. I want to thank you so much. I carefully listened to the beautiful words, the play of words. You don't change. Thank you very much. We are here this morning as a sign of appreciation for the service that you have rendered to this country and you will continue to render to the people of this country, and the loyalty that you have expressed to the government and people of Sierra Leone, more especially His Excellency the President. But notwithstanding, we are here to see how best we're going to support this process. We believe 34 Hospital is so strategic in the health sector of this country. And as far as I'm concerned, 34 Hospital is at the heartbeat of Her Excellency the First Lady. She wants to see how 34 Hospital can be upgraded to the next level. So, all during her consultation, she always keeps reminding us, what can we do for 34 Hospital to be upgraded? And I'm sure there is so much she has on her desk in her beautiful pause that she may want to diverse. But I'm restricted only to what we are here for this morning. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Joint Force Commander, Excellency, we are here to make a donation. We believe the people of this country deserve better. We believe the people of this country deserve good leadership, and that is why you have today. And when you have good leadership, you expect good support from them. And that is why you have retired Brigadier Julius Madabio as a president, a man who cares about the life of people. But most importantly, in as much as we are about the Excellency will be donating drugs to this hospital, but there's one key thing we need to take into account. Her Excellency has a flagship program, which I believe everybody in this country know about. That's the House of Affairs. His husband, our brother, our president, our commander-in-chief, is investing so much in the educational sector. So the First Lady is playing a major role to ensure that this education is not going away. The House of Affairs project is one of the most strategic projects in the development of this country as now. The only project that we have across this country. We happen to be families, mothers and fathers in this business. We want to urge you all to support this process, to ensure that our children stay in school, to ensure that our children are properly taken care of in our barracks, in our community. And I have the strongest conviction that one of the most disciplined forces in the world is this military. And anytime you see a military officer at a particular point, you have no reason but to check whatever you are doing. So I'm pretty sure the issue of rape in Sierra Leone is becoming a nightmare for Her Excellency. And I'm sure from this moment, which I believe the ALSLAF is going to support this process. It is about consultation, it is about engagement, it is about advocacy. This is something I think the ALSLAF is willing and ready and prepared to support. This nation cannot continue like this. The people of this country deserve better. So therefore, we need to work with the Office of the First Lady to ensure that her vision is achieved. Today, we are fortunate to have a president that cares about women and children. Nobody knows whether after 11 years of President Dio's leadership, we have president that will take some of those things into consideration. We have the First Lady that puts children as a priority on her desk. Nobody knows whether we'll ever have a First Lady again that will look at some of these issues as key priorities. My humble request to the leadership of the House staff, let's make use of this opportunity we have now. It is now or never. So in this regard, let me on behalf of Her Excellency, the colleagues of the Office of the First Lady, the GMB Women and Associates, the Chairman forever, thank you so much for the short notice and the attendance we have seen. This clearly defines that how much importance we attach to this business. We have defined the purpose we are here to donate drugs, but we need to start engaging people on the issue of sexual and gender-based violence. It's too much that we cannot comprehend as a nation. And I'm sure if the House Lab decides to be a party to this process to help mitigate these things, this is something I'm sure we're going to handle, inshallah. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Chief of Staff, sir. And thank you for enlightening us and reminding us of the flagship program of Her Excellency. I want to assure you and Her Excellency that the Chief of Defense Staff and senior management of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces takes the issue of gender-based violence very seriously. And I'm sure all of us will put hands on deck to make sure Her Excellency's objective comes to fruition. We'll now move on to the next item on the agenda, and I will ask the Chief of Defense Staff to respectfully sit where he is and make his statement.
Excellency, the First Lady, Madam Fatima, Mother of the Nation, Commander Joint Force, the Chief of Staff of the Office of the First Lady, Al-Hadi Sheikh, Shalim Feka,
Inshallah. Allahu Akbar.
ACDN Support Block, COGMU, officers, men of the Armed Staff and GMU, distinguished invited guests, members of the First Estate. I bring you fraternal greetings from the Ministry of Defense and from members of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. I wish to start by formally express my profound thanks and appreciation on behalf of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to Her Excellency the First Lady for always putting the welfare of the people of this country top on our priority. Just 3 weeks ago, I assured a colleague during a private conversation that with authority I can tell that the mother of the nation will return with goodies for the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Here we are today on the of the handing over of a huge donation worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical items to 34 military hospitals to not only contribute in the COVID-19 pandemic, but also to improve medical outcomes at the 34 military hospitals. Madam First Lady, the Arts Life, like most other institutions, have benefited tremendously from your support in numerous occasions, demonstrating your commitment to serving, love for humanity, tender heart of the mother of the nation. Firstly, it was the recruitment of over 200 all-female military personnel pioneered by our office. That venture did not only go down in our history books, but clearly established your vision to promote gender parity in Sierra Leone. And an indicator of what was to come. Ma'am, although women representation is still low across the force, that recruitment has helped in narrowing the gender gap in the Republic of Sierra Leone Forces. As we gather here today, a good number of those personnel are now deployed across the force and in foreign lands promoting global peace. It has also motivated many women across the country to opt for the armed forces as they visit in our ongoing recruitment. We saw the number of female applicants almost surpassing that of the male. The Hands Off Our Girls campaign was also timely and strategic, considering the fact that the development of any nation rests on the shoulders of its children, regardless of sex. With women and girls forming over 50% of this country's population, sexual predatory, if not robustly tackled, is bound to derail our development strides. With the AXLAF committing to the fight against sexual-based violence, and the chain of command anticipated with a courtesy call visit to reaffirm our commitment to the fight against rape and all forms of sexual crimes perpetrated against our women and girls. So that's all the reason why I visited you, myself, and the Commander Joint Force. Consequently, the AXLAF leadership redirected the Gender Directorate to conduct a force-wide sensitization tour in order to re-echo the message of zero tolerance to rape, sexual penetration, and other sexual offenses. In fact, just quite recently, I also embarked on a tour to all formations and units, and that was one of my key messages, to the soldiers. Additionally, the 34 military hospitals have also benefited from the philanthropy of our First Lady through various donations of medical care and non-medical items, especially to the pediatric and maternity wards. Just recently, the First Lady had also committed to the expansion of the maternity ward aimed at providing the needed gynecological services and promotion of women's health. I wish to once more, on behalf of the senior management of the Republic of Senegal Forces, officers, men and women of the AXLAF, thank our inspirational and most dynamic First Lady for thinking of the AXLAF during these times of their need. I also wish to respectfully request you please extend our thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President, Brigadier General Retired Julius Madagio, for his astute leadership of the country, particularly in these challenging times. I wish to also thank the gallant foot soldiers guided by your leadership, who have dedicated their energy to realizing your vision of serving this country, that is the GMB women. I take my seat. I also want, to extend my sincere thanks to the commander, for his leadership, in ensuring that we achieve most of, this project, especially in the road maintenance. Yes, we gave, but he came up with the initiative. So I want to thank you very much for your astute leadership and ensuring that we move 34 to a higher height. Of course, we all know that our aim is to have the 34 hospital to a level 3, a level 4 hospital, a 5 hospital. We want to make sure that 34 is the best hospital in not only Senegal but also in Senegal. On that note, I want to thank you, ma'am, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala richly bless you and your family. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our students. Thank you very much, sir, for that brilliant speech. Chief of Defense Staff, sir, Commander Joint Force, senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, as has already been said by previous speakers, we are not only happy, but we feel privileged and gratified to have as our guest of honor today the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. It's a big opportunity, and so we are very grateful to Her Excellency for making this happen and for taking a precious time to come and lead this program. Without wasting time, I will now respectfully ask Her Excellency, who is our guest of honor, to make a statement. Let us give her a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, sir. Chief of Defense Staff, the Joint Force Commander, Chief of Staff Officer, members of the Noble Armed Forces, the JMB Women's Wing and associate members, the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Morning. Morning.
I'm so pleased to be here this morning. Not just to donate the medicines that we have for the hospital, but I'm very pleased to be here to see you gallant soldiers. I have 300 kids among the military, and everywhere I go I look for them, and they're all women. But I'm happy to be here this morning to take the opportunity to thank you very much, because I know the COVID-19 is one sickness that has put the world still, but then you people are here serving this nation. Some people will run away, some people will be so afraid. Some people will be so afraid to even associate with someone that has coronavirus. But you have dedicated your time, yourself, your service. This is a different kind of war. We do not have to shoot a gun, but we know coronavirus is deadly and it can kill anyone if it's not taken care of. So your service to this nation, I want to say thank you so very much on behalf of His Excellency for serving our people. Thank you very much. To our Chief of Defense Staff and the Joint Force Commander. Indeed, yes, we had a meeting about the rape issues that is actually getting so worse in our country. We had a meeting and we had a plan as to how we're going to reintroduce that plan to the military. I'm waiting for you to discuss, because this plan, we have to work together as a team. I am the civilian, you are the military. I'll still stand at your back, and then I'm hoping that you will lead me to our new fight. We will all agree in this room that the rate of rape in Sierra Leone is now embarrassing to our country. No matter how much our country is growing, and every day when you open the radio, when you listen to BBC, when you listen to the international news, they're talking about rape in our country. And it's not only about the normal rape anymore, it's about the violence kind of rape that we're experiencing. The ages, a 1-year-old child, a 2-year, 3-year-old child, a 15-year-old boy, a 14-year-old boy raping a 100-year-old woman, a 14 and a 12-year-old boy ambushing a 50-year-old woman in her flat and rape her. Something has gone fundamentally wrong in our country, and we all have to fix it together. This is not just the fight of the First Lady. This is our fight, because if this country is successful, the military will be successful. If the country fails, the military will fail. So this is another fight that I'm asking you all to look into, because it is very important. I alone cannot do it. His Excellency alone cannot do it. But I know collectively, if we all look at this not as one man's business, but as our business, we'll find a solution to what has fundamentally gone wrong in our country. This morning, I'm here to donate medicines that I believe that we need, medicines that I believe that we can use for the fight for coronavirus. It is not a corona medicine, but it also helps with symptoms. So I'm here to donate them. It is from a very good friend, Mr. Kim, who some times ago actually asked the foundation, the Mother and Fatima Bio Foundation, as to what is it that we want them to help us with, and we told them medicines. And true to his words, he made sure we have these medicines. 34 is one of the hospitals that are going to benefit from these medicines, and the other hospital is the Kenema Government Hospital, the Kono Government Hospital, and the Kisi Mental Home Hospital. So they are the ones that are going to be benefiting from a 40-foot container of medicines that was donated to the office of the First Lady. But I decided to start at 34. Don't ask me why. Just in case. Maybe because I love 34 very much. And coincidentally, I did not plan it at all. I even forgot where I was going this morning. And I dressed with a military fatigue. It is crazy. But sir, I indeed ask that I want to be part of the pediatric and the children's ward in this hospital. And as we're here today, it is not something that I wanted to talk about until I am sure that Mr. Sivali would have provided us what we require. All we're asking for is for you to bless us with a land near your around the hospital, so that we will build a brand new pediatric. I am hoping that before we leave here this morning, you will give us an idea, because we really want to start ASAP. After they told me the state of the children's ward here, I believe that instead of renovating, we can renovate, but we can also build brand new, so that we will be able to expand. I'm just going to wait for your instructions. Like I said, I'm the civilian, I'm behind you guys. So I want to say thank you for all the medical personnel that are taking the risk, saving our lives. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your service to Sierra Leone. And thank you for your service to the leadership. You know, when I heard about the road, for the first time, I actually understand what it means to have a leadership. Because honestly, coming into this hospital is an eyesore. And when you fix that road, if there is anything that you think I can do, also, please, don't hesitate to ask, because I want to if anything we can do from our office to fix this road coming up here, please just let us know. We will find a way. We don't have everything, but we know how to find a way. Like the Chief of Defense Staff just said, when you have a military behind you, a military that is ready to fight and make you succeed, definitely you can see anything anywhere. I have JMB Women's and Associates with me. So I can say anything anywhere. Because I know when chairman forever is sitting, or right now is calculating how much all of this is going to cost. But don't be afraid, Mr. Sivani, he's chairman for life. And you don't get such a title for free these days. So, Mr. Chairman, we need a hospital, and we need to fix the road. So we're going to work on that, sir. We'll work with you directly, and don't allow Salim to bully you this time, please. Now tell Salim he's a civilian and you're a military man. I want to say thank you, and thank you so very much. If I'm not talking to Korean, okay, glad. And so I can train in Korean. So while they talk the Korean, nobody talks this guy, I know somebody talk Korean. But I want to say thank you so very much. I look forward to with Christmas. I know, yes, Mr. Sivali, you talk about us giving this hospital. We've been giving this hospital gift 2018, 20. As a matter of fact, we've started donating at the 34 hospital since 2015. Every Christmas we come here, and that is the attachment I have, with this hospital since 2015. When you go to an institution where you are not seen as an outsider, where you are accepted, around 2015, it's a difficult time for you to go to anywhere in this country and you are accepted. But 34 military hospital, there was no party issue here, there was no political agenda here. Since 2015, I have been coming here, and as long as I am in this country, I will continue to come. There's a lot of goodies for Christmas for our women and children in 34. And this time, if we've been giving one, this time we're ready to give 100. If we've been giving 100, this time our Christmas for 34 is going to be in the thousands. So I want to say thank you, and I thank you for all the support since 2015 to date. I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you so very much.
Better rounds of applause, please. Please be seated. I've been telling her. I say outside the mommy day, the bad day. And outside the day, better the candy. Let's give our first lady another round of applause. Thank you, ma'am, for such reassuring words. They were not only reassuring, but the calmness of your voice suits all of us as we listen to you speak. We thank you for the wonderful plans that you have for our institution. These plans will, not in a little way, bring a lot of changes to how we do our business and how we deliver services to the nation. Thank you very much, ma'am. We now move to the presentation of the items. Now, the items, as stated by the CDS, are worth over 100,000, and there are a lot more outside. We have a few of those items here, which Her Excellency will symbolically present to the Chief of Defense Staff, assisted by the COJMU. Big rounds of applause. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, man. COJM, you received the items, please. God bless you. Thank you, CDS, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. Our next item on the agenda is a vote of thanks, but before that, I just want to explain after the vote of thanks how the procession will be. COJMU will lead the delegation of Her Excellency to do a short tour of the hospital that will include the pediatric ward and the entire building where the physiotherapy is as well, the maternity building, and other important areas. We will advise that officers and men return to their places of duty so that we don't have a large crowd behind Her Excellency's delegation. Only members of the high table and a few members of Her Excellency delegation will do this tour. On that note, I will now call on the matron of the 34 Military Hospital, Lieutenant Colonel Anna O.E. Pratt, to give the vote of thanks.
Madam First Lady, Her Excellency, Mrs. Fatima Leone, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General S.I.C.C., the Commander Joint Force, Major General P.K. Lavaun, the Chief of Staff of the Office of the First Lady, Mr. Sheikh Feka, the ACDS Support and Logistics, Brigadier General Baba Jalo, the Commanding Officer of the Joint Medical Unit, Colonel Dr. Stephen Sivali, senior officers and men of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, particularly the Joint Medical Unit, members of the security sectors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate, good morning. I stand here this morning to deliver a vote of thanks on this remarkable occasion. But this will be a vote of thanks with a difference, because I want to say something to the First Lady this morning. But I want to thank God Almighty for making this day possible to have the First Lady in our midst. Gone are those days when men are in the office and women are in the kitchen and labor work. Today we are talking about gender. We are no longer talking about sex. So we talk about roles and responsibility. Any role a man can take, a woman can take. Yes. And when I see a First Lady, I just think about a flower. When I was going to school, there was a flower, or it's a flower called a flamboyant, or flame of the forest. That flower has a trunk that is so thick, and it has buttress roots. Buttress roots are roots that go deep down and spread far. And with a very strong trunk, that tree can survive any Holocaust. And the flower, you can see the flower, it is called the flame of the forest. So when the tree is in the midst of the forest, that flower blossoms. It is so bright. Anytime you go to any forest, you will see that flower. So that is the description of human. You are not the flame of the forest, you are the flame of Sierra Leone. Anywhere you go, your flower blossoms. We get the fragrance everywhere. And your petals. We want to thank you very much for bringing these items to us. And I heard you say you love us. And I want you to know that we love you too. And we will always love you. So we want to thank you very much for making 34 your priority. And we are telling you that we will not disappoint you. When you give us, we are going to give. We have Commander Joint Force, the Chief of Staff of the First Lady, our dynamic commanding officer, the ACDS support and log. I want to say thank you very much for making it possible to come and grace this occasion. I want to thank each and every member of the Joint Medical Unit, because from the commanding officer right down to the cleaner, everybody is doing a very good job. Nobody will take the honors that I alone. It is not possible. United we stand, divided we fall. So I thank God for the unity, and I thank you for your cooperation. I want to thank all the dignitaries and the team of the First Lady for coming to stand by our noble First Lady. I want to thank the members of the Fourth Estate for coming around so that the news will go far and wide. I want to praise God for our lives and the life of this government. I want to thank God for the life of His Excellency, retired Brigadier General Madabiu. I want to thank God for the military of Sierra Leone. And I pray that God will continue to move us from strength to strength. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you will see why is the matron of this hospital. Officers and men, sit up. Sit easy. Sit up. Sir.
Thank you.
End of this program.
Thank you for a well-completed program.
Thank you, sir. I have your permission to end the program. Sit easy. Your Excellency, Chief of Defense Staff, I'll leave it now. Shall we rise, please, as they take the exit? We will expect you also ask Your Excellency to sign our visitor's book outside.
Yes.